I'm Melissa Mancini with Canadian HR Reporter TV. I recently sat down with Benjamin Kranc, a lawyer in Toronto, to talk about what HR professionals need to know if they're recruiting foreign workers.
Okay, the first thing from just sort of a fundamental point of view, the starting point for a Canadian work permit is actually the employer. Sometimes people think it's the employee, but the employer first has to show that there's essentially no Canadian available to take this job, and they have to go through what's called the labor market opinion process to justify that. However, there are a number of exceptions to that procedure. One of the most common, for instance, is an intercompany transfer, where if you show someone has worked with your affiliate company abroad for at least a year and has specialized knowledge or managerial level experience, then they can come to Canada without a labor market opinion. There are other such exceptions, certain NAFTA professionals, and sometimes there are exceptions from the need for a work permit at all, such as a business visitor, but you have to be able to justify that you are indeed just a business visitor, not technically working in Canada.
What do HR professionals need to know about foreign recruitment?
The first thing you need to know is that the system is set up to protect Canadian workers. People often take that for granted, especially when it comes to immigration these days. Everybody worries about security, post 9/11, all that. Yes, it's out there. We have to worry about those things too. But really, the system is designed to protect Canadian jobs. We have to look at whether a labor market opinion is needed and go make sure we cover our bases, that when we file such an application, that we satisfy an officer of Service Canada that really this is something where a foreign worker should be allowed to come work in Canada. But beyond that, we also have to be able, as in the HR world, to look for those exceptions that are out there, the intercompany transfers, the NAFTA professionals, all those kinds of things, because if you can do away with the need for an LMO in a particular case, certainly that's where you want to go.
How long does the process take?
Well, the labor market opinion process, depending where in the country and other variables that change all the time. In Ontario, it's probably about 4 weeks now to get the actual labor market opinion from the time you file, but you have to do some recruitment 2 weeks in advance of that, so 6 weeks at least to get that done. And then to get you have to file for the actual work permit. If you're from a country that requires a visa, you have to file at a visa post. That could take a month. Sometimes you need a medical exam. That could take another month. If you are in a country, though, that doesn't need a visa or a medical, you can show up at the port of entry the next day and get your work permit.